Welcome everybody. This is Mr. Storm, and this is the first assignment in Advanced Business Web Page Design. Essentially, what I'm looking for you to do is to create a website where you can hold all of your assignments and your evaluations. This is an example website that I've built just to kind of show you what I'm looking for. It's very simple. There's not a lot going on. I've used some fun design elements that we learned last semester or last class, depending on when you took my web design class. But I used some shadow elements here and some positioning. I've got a big banner here in the middle to kind of fill up some space. This front page, there wasn't really much that I wanted to do with it, but you can see I have my top navigation bar with a drop-down menu. I've got a link back to the UMA website, got a link to Classcraft, I got a link to the W3 Schools lessons, and then I've got a link to the evaluations. For you, all of your self-evaluations are going to go here. All of your assignment examples are going to go here. And if I go to another page in this website, you can see that top navigation bar stays there. So, this is an example of how to use JavaScript in a web page, and it's just a fun example that I built, although it's running kind of slow. I'm going to show you the code that I use to build this website here, and I'm using Edity. So, I created this project, and I have all of my pages in the project. All the pages are in here. We're going to look at the index.html page and the style.css today. So let's go ahead and look at the index first. All this stuff, this is all easy. I've linked to my style.css sheet here. Alright, so let's take a look. So I have my unordered list, box shadow, list item. So this unordered list is this navigation bar here. So each item is a list item here. So I've got my logo, button, I've got my Classcraft link, my W3 Schools link right here. I've got my schedule link, which is a dead link, it doesn't go anywhere. And then I've got my drop-down menu for all of my lesson examples right here. And then I've got my UMA link, which has a float right property applied to it, so that it always is on the right side of this block. And then I end my unordered list. I have my div, which okay, really quickly before I move on, if you look at the style that I've applied to it, essentially I used inline CSS for this. So you could do this with external CSS and put it in your style.css sheet if you want to do it that way. It was easy for me just to throw the box shadow in there. But there are some other things manipulating my unordered list in my style.css sheet, which I'll show you in a minute. Okay, so then down here I have another div with basically the image. And what I had to do with this is I couldn't get my image to be centered in my box unless I created an image or put the header.png image as the source, and then hid it, and then added it in my class here in my class content. Let's find the content class. So in my content class, I actually made it the background of that div. So I put the image in there. I hid the image so that you can't see the image, and then I made the image the background of that div. So it's so that I can center it and all that stuff. It's I know it's confusing, but it's a fix that I found that actually kind of works. And then I have my message, another div with the message down here that kind of just tells you what's going on. And I inserted my little imperial icon there, and that's it. That's the whole front page. That's all the HTML required for this page, and most of the HTML is this navigation bar here, right? Let's talk about the CSS very quickly. So this is really where most of it's going to come from, most of your design. So I've modified my unordered list to be a list style type none, margin 0, padding 0, overflow hidden, background color, and the font family. So these 4 items right here are telling you that you want to create a horizontal navigation bar. And then for each list item, I have it floating left, except for the Utah Military Academy one, which I've overridden the external style sheet, and I've done an inline float right property. Which, remember, if you do inline styling, it's going to override your external styling. Let's see. For every anchor element inside of a list item, I'm going to make it a drop down. So it comes down and it basically makes it a white background, and I can hover over and do all kinds of cool stuff. And here's my hover attribute. Background color is yellow for these buttons. And then text color turns to black, so it's gray with a white text color, and then when I hover over it goes yellow to a black text color. So that's what that hover attribute does. Let's see. Yeah, most of this is just to handle my drop down menus here. Change my background color for my body. There's that content class that I showed you just a minute ago. Margin auto to be able to center things within the page and make it so that it can grow and shrink and stay awesome even if I shrink it all the way down. So make a pretty agile website. Let's see, padding 0 on my buttons, yeah, message. So you guys get all this, but basically this is not much work, and honestly I didn't, let's go back. This took me probably maybe a day of just kind of dorking around and messing with it. I'm giving you guys 2 weeks to work on it in class, and honestly I'm just looking for a place for you to host your assignments. It can be bland if you want, but I mean, come on, let's make it fun and interesting. I chose a Star Wars theme for mine because I like Star Wars. You can choose whatever theme you want, as long as it's school appropriate. But make it interesting to look at. I'm gonna be going here to grade your assignment. So the more interesting it is, the more lenient I'm probably gonna be. So put some work into it. Put some effort into it. Pretend like you're actually designing a website for a customer and try to make it as good as you possibly can. Shave off some of the or you smooth off some of the rough edges. Like for me, if I was working on this more, up here how this line doesn't quite go flush with the bottom of my pictures here, I would probably mess around with my code until that went away. I'd probably add some more content and stuff like that. But it's up to you guys, but I would definitely put some effort into this and try to make it as impressive as you can. All right, that's about it. Enjoy the next 2 weeks working on this. Look at it as a challenge, something you can be proud of and something that you want to show off. Because if you put the work into it, I promise you're really going to like this class. All right, thanks for watching.